right, people in the streets of Hong Kong singing the U.S. national anthem and waving American flags one day after President Trump signed two bills backing the pro-democracy protesters there in Hong Kong. The Chinese Foreign Ministry calling the move a, quote, severe interference in Hong Kong affairs, serious violation of international law and basic norms governing international relations. Shocking the Chinese are not so happy about pro-democracy protesters, Laura. What's interesting to watch now, as we're seeing, is how much this is energizing the protesters in Hong Kong. From the South China Morning Post there in Asia, sense of unease hangs over Hong Kong as protesters prepare for anti-government rally near site of violent clashes between radicals and police. This has certainly emboldened the protesters to get this real voice of support from President Trump, and not only from the president, but also from both chambers of Congress that passed the law.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you see those images, I mean, they really are so just incredible to watch, the American flags being flown and being waved around in Hong Kong. And some of the protesters who were out there on the streets waving those flags had something to say. Here's some of them on Thursday.
I think that's very important because we have not strong enough to against the Chinese government, and we hope American government can support us to do something.
We are here because we knew the United States has passed the act for Hong Kong this morning. So we especially want to thank the United States citizens and also the President Donald Trump for supporting Hong Kong.
You know, a lot of people say that the move of signing those bills was a risky one, but obviously they're, Leland, the folks of Hong Kong waving those flags, certainly behind the president on that.
Well, yeah, certainly the risk is that the Chinese retaliate in one way or another. One way they could is in terms of the trade negotiations that are going on right now. This from the Chinese foreign minister, the latest statement saying their act, meaning the United States, will only further expose the malicious and hegemonic nature of U.S. intentions to the Chinese people, including our Hong Kong compatriots. We urge the U.S. not to continue going down the wrong path, or China will take countermeasures and the U.S. must bear all consequences. Not a very veiled threat when it comes to the negotiations that are going on. And Steve Moore talked about that just a little while ago, that the China trade deal could have major ramifications to the U.S. economy, have major ramifications to the Chinese as well. So now comes the game of chicken. But political observers will tell you this sort of plays into President Trump's week of being presidential. You have the visit to the troops in Afghanistan. You've got this in terms of foreign policy, very different than the week he had before.
And you know what? It's a couple of important weeks coming up. Those trade talk deadlines coming up December 15th, 16th. So we'll see how it goes from there. Leland.